Welcome, exiles! Today we are talking about how to make currency, my favorite topic in Path of Exile. Now, today's tip is really easy to implement as long as you are running Atlas. So the tip is only for Atlas. If you're delving, then it's not going to work. If you run maps, it's going to work. And you're going to be able to transform 10 chaos into 4 exiles from time to time. And sometimes you're going to transform few chaos into 30ish chaos, but either way, like, implementing this strategy is going to boost your profits when running maps for sure. Now, before I tell you how to do this, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications. This helps a lot with how YouTube suggests videos, so if you want to see more videos from me, turn on the notifications. Okay, so how do you turn a 10 chaos into 4.5 or so exiles? Well, it's quite simple. You just go to Zana and see if she sells Cortex map. If she sells Cortex map, then you just buy that for 10 chaos and you sell it for 4.5, or you run it and hope for some GG item that's going to sell for 20 exiles, but probably not. Probably going to get some item that it's not worth even 4.5 exiles if you're me and have that kind of RNG. I ran few Cortexes and I didn't get anything that great. But I know that people get some GG items from Cortex, so if you want to run it, you can run it. But if you're going to sell it, it's worth 4.5 exiles. Now, when should you check Zana's inventory for these maps? Every time you get a Zana mission, check her inventory and see if she has a Cortex map. If she has it, just buy it, and that's GG money without any effort at all. Well, if you wanna put some effort in, then run Cortex. If not, just sell it. There are people who have optimized their builds for running this kind of stuff, and they will pay 4.5 exiles to just buy the map off you and run it. Other things that you should check is Zana inventory is if she has some Guardian maps. So if it's going to say it's occupied by someone, that's a Guardian map, and you just run those maps. Those maps are worth around 30ish chaos, I think, last time I checked, and they have guardians in them, and those guardians drop fragments, and those fragments are also worth around 30 chaos. So if you want to run it, you are definitely guaranteed to get 30 chaos out of it. Obviously, I wouldn't really suggest selling fragments, but rather just running Elder, and well, you will probably get some nice drops from that instead. So instead of like getting one exalt from like 4 fragments, you're going to invest that exalt into running a boss fight, and that boss fight has a chance to drop something really nice, and that GG item that's going to drop is probably going to be worth way more than 1 exalt, so just run those things. I wouldn't really sell them. But for Cortex, because all my runs I almost always die from something because I don't know the boss mechanics. There are definitely one-shot mechanics in that fight. You cannot like face tank it, as far as I know. Maybe some builds can if they have like 15k ES or something, but I couldn't face tank it, so I died a few times until I kinda learned what to dodge. And even then, well, after a few Cortex runs, I still like didn't have like perfect record of always like surviving. I always get killed by at least once per Cortex. Maybe I'm a noob and don't know the Cortex boss mechanics, and there are no videos explaining the mechanics, apparently, because, I don't know, maybe it's not popular or something, but yeah, so run Cortex if you can. There is one more tip that I can give you guys. So you can buy the maps from Zana, but you can also get maps. You probably know that you can get maps from Zana missions. So when you run Zana missions, save your red Zana missions for running them only on tier 16, because if you run them on tier 16 you have a greater chance of getting Cortex from Zana, or you can get some Guardian maps from her if you run it on tier 16. Same thing, like you obviously run Cortex this time around because you cannot sell it. Maybe you could through global chat somehow, but that's too much work. So you just run the Cortex then and hope for some GG items. Until you kinda learn the boss fight. You might die a few times, but just run it, trust me, it's worth it. And you run the Guardian maps if they pop up from Zana. So if you have some red Zana missions, don't run them on lower tiers like tier 14, 15, just save them for tier 16. Once you can run tier 16, once you can run Cortex, you run those and make some decent profit out of it. And that's like all the tips I have for you guys today. It's a really short video, but it's so easy to implement in your strategy. It doesn't require any setup whatsoever. It just requires you to run maps, and you're definitely going to run maps at some point. Even if you're delving, you have to run maps from time to time to get sulfite. So just like do this and you're going to be making some easy currency from time to time. And yeah, like implement whole bunch of things in your currency making strategies and you're going to have a whole bunch of currency. If you do just one thing, it's probably not going to give you a lot of currency. Just pick up tips and tricks from me, from other people, and keep implementing them. And once you have like know all the tips for making currency, you're going to say, oh man, this is like so easy. But it actually isn't easy. You have to know a whole bunch of stuff. Anyways, this is all, Exiles. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.